The show rolls on. Our breakdown of every single Trey Lance starting snap for his rookie season for the 49ers. This is episode number 2 out of 8. So Lance had 8 quarters as the starter for the 49ers in 2021, and every single episode will cover every single snap from a given quarter, right? So 2 starts, 8 quarters. We're in quarter number 2 against Arizona in week number 5. And just to refresh your memory, we can go back to the play that finished the first quarter. And this was an impressive one because the 49ers spaced the field with Travis Benjamin, and Lance was able to keep his eyes downfield and find a wide open Deebo Samuel for a big gain. That wrapped up the first quarter. The 49ers were moving the ball against the Arizona Cardinals, and there was some optimism despite some obvious rawness from Trey Lance in that first quarter. So be sure to subscribe to the channel. Check out that first video because that one leads right into this one, and we still have 6 sequels coming after this. All right, so we now move to the second quarter. The 49ers trailing the Cardinals, but are moving the ball. What can we expect from Trey Lance? Because our final takeaway was this: moldable clay to work with at quarterback. The 49ers definitely had something to work with the field spacing, the explosiveness of Lance, the way that Kyle Shanahan was calling plays. You could see that the 49ers had something cooking against the Cardinals. Now, obviously, this turned out to be a loss, and there was plenty of criticism to go around following this loss, and also plenty of valid reasons for why the 49ers couldn't win the game. And in the second quarter, the complexity of the story really evolved and turned into something truly interesting. So we'll take a look at this. 1st and 10 now for the 49ers to begin that second quarter. And this is where some of those problems of Lance's supporting cast started to come in. His throw dropped by Deebo Samuel. It was a slant pass. It was a heat seeker. You'll see it from this angle, but it's one that Deebo has to hang on to. This is schemed for some yak. Lance sees Deebo, and Deebo can't hold on. So this is just the first of many drops in this game that did not help Trey Lance. Moving on, 2nd and 10. This is going to be designed run number 5 of the game for Trey Lance, and we're only early in the second quarter. Joined very briefly in the backfield and takes off with it. Nice play, but it's abuse. It's abuse for a 21-year-old at the hands of an NFL defense. And, you only have so many of these bullets per game. You can't take too many bruises. And, this one, yes, it helped the 49ers from a down and distance perspective. You didn't get hit all too hard. And it set up a 3rd and manageable, 3rd and 3, which featured one of the most impressive throws that we saw from Lance throughout the entirety of his rookie season. But again, you have to use those runs wisely. Not saying that one was a poor usage of a run. We're just keeping the larger picture context in perspective. There's the throw to Brandon Ayuk, and you're going to see the fist bump from Kyle Shanahan on the other angle coming up right here. This is an outside the numbers throw into the tightest of windows, and I'm going to let this one play fully before we rewind it back a little bit. He just drills it in there, and then Shanahan pumps the fist. 49ers got the job done. All right, let's take a look back at this one. 3rd and 3 means that the 49ers do have some run pass flexibility. They can keep the defense a little bit honest, especially from plus territory on the field. But if you see the top of the screen here, this is good coverage from Arizona. And Brandon Ayuk is a good man coverage beater. But the 49ers know that they've already had pass protection struggles in this game, and they know it's only 3rd and 3. And they probably don't want to take a bigger shot downfield because of those pass protection issues. So they just need to move the chains. And I think Arizona knows that too on the back end. And I think this was excellent coverage. This throw is coming out before Brandon Ayuk is fully out of his break. So it's going to have to be perfect given the fact that there's a blanket on the receiver. And that velocity, that's also not easy to cross that hash mark with that kind of velocity. Football fields, by the way, are 53 1/3 yards wide. So any throw like this one that you see not cross the entirety of the field, but at least go from hash to sideline, that's not an easy throw. It looks a lot narrower than it actually is. All right, so here's the throw. There's the catch. There you could see the relative lack of separation, and you just have to love the gun that Trey Lance has. Now we go to the Kyle Shanahan fist bump, as you just saw right there. A little fist bump from Kyle right in front of him. He got a front row seat for it. And then he was able to call another Trey Lance run. This is going to be run number 6 for Trey Lance. Design run number 6. It's a read option. He does a good job with this read option. Fake inside to Mitchell. Keeps the ball, runs outside. There's a flag that comes in late. That penalty was declined, 7-yard gain. We talk about read option technique. We'll see here how good of a job Trey Lance did. He has to sell the handoff, right? He's selling the handoff right here. Keep that ball in Elijah Mitchell's breadbasket for as long as possible. Because when you do that, number 44, who's coming in off this edge, is going to be fooled. And you suck in that outside linebacker or the defensive end, whoever's there, and then with your speed as Trey Lance, you could win to the outside. So he keeps that ball in, and now he bails. And at this point, this defender on the edge, 44, is overcommitted. Trey Lance has the speed, and you'll watch here, just within 2 seconds, look at how much distance Trey Lance gains. Boom. He's already over half the hash mark length ahead of 44, turns into a 7-yard gain. So good execution. Good job by Trey Lance just to take the dive there at the end of the play. Doesn't take all too much abuse. And that means that the 49ers, through a relatively low-cost play, are at 2nd and 3. Now, this is a tandem play. They're going to run another read option, but this time Lance is going to give to Elijah Mitchell. This time Mitchell keeps, and you could see the defense is worried, especially 44 down here, worried that Lance might keep it. Because of that, Mitchell and his burst has a chance to get to the outside, and he delivers a big gain. So the mobility of the quarterback combined with some schematic design allows the 49ers to utilize their running back on the very next play. Now, let's look at the fake technique here. Foot back, which means that Lance is primed and ready to go to take off running himself. Put doubt into the mind of the defenders. When I look at Arizona's defense here and their body language, I see doubt everywhere. Nobody's sure if Mitchell's going to keep or if Lance is going to keep. And this is especially credible on the play immediately after Trey Lance kept. This time Elijah Mitchell keeps, beats Isaiah Simmons to the outside. Big gain, sets up 1st and goal. Well done for the 49ers. That's how you utilize Trey Lance's legs and the threat of them on consecutive plays. So 1st and goal from the 5. I think we all know how this ends, this set of 4 downs. You probably remember if you watched this game, but it didn't start well with a throw behind Deebo Samuel. Now, I mean, we could talk about this ad nauseum, and we're going to slow it down. Was this Samuel's fault or Trey Lance's fault? Well, Samuel should have caught it, yes. But if you look at where we're at this point of the play, the 49ers have their blocking set up. Mohamed Sanu, Kyle Juszczyk coming over here. If this throw, just it doesn't have to really lead Deebo Samuel. Just put it out in front of him so he can stretch his arms out and begin running with the football. And if he can begin running with the football and you have 2 blockers there, he has to beat one guy. He could cut inside. I mean, he could do a ton of stuff and he probably scores. But look where this throw ends up. Look where Samuel's arms are right here. He's reaching backwards. So, yes, it is Deebo's fault that he dropped the throw, but it's still not ideally placed. Trey needs to put that about I would say a yard further toward the goal line, and then it's a great throw, and then Deebo Samuel probably takes it in for a touchdown. Instead, I mean, it wasn't the best throw, and the error was compounded by the fact that Deebo didn't catch the ball. So the short game is important. You can't take these little slip screens for granted. If you go back and watch Samuel on that, in the 90-yarder or however long it was against Chicago, it wasn't an easy throw from Jimmy Garoppolo because you have a defensive back crashing the backfield, and you have to angle the football in such a way that it gets to the flat, that it gets to Deebo Samuel, because you're letting guys in on these screen passes. So it's not a traffic-free throw, and you also have to be able to set up the yards after the catch. And this is something that Trey Lance is going to have to improve at. This throw is going to have to be better to set Deebo and guys up to make plays. But still, I mean, Deebo should catch that, and it shouldn't become an incomplete pass or, as the Cardinals thought initially, a fumble there. Got to be better on both ends of that one. We move to 2nd and goal. Now, the 49ers are going to move back. This is the other angle, obviously. So we're going to move the 2nd goal here in a second. But when we move to 2nd and goal, The 49ers are going to move back to a designed run for Trey Lance. Now, I'm keeping count of these. This is design run number 7 on the very young afternoon. We're still early in the second quarter here. It's going to take the snap, draw kind of play. And, another good play for the 49ers gets the 49ers right in the scoring range of the 1. But from this angle, look at the lick that Trey Lance takes here. I mean, these aren't easy plays for the quarterback. I mean, he's leading with his head there. This is not flag football. And again, this is design run number 7. So the 49ers are really laying it out there on the line physically for Trey Lance. Leads with his helmet, punishes his way forward. But it's more bruises for Trey to set up 3rd and 1. Now, it might be worth it if the 49ers actually score, but this is where stuff starts going haywire. Under center on 3rd down, play fake, looking downfield. Where the hell's the receiver? Now, I don't know whose fault this is, but after a play fake, there should be somebody slipping into the end zone right here, right? There's nobody in the end zone. So Trey Lance doesn't know where to go. Now, meanwhile, look back down here. That's J.J. Watt beating Mike Mcglinchey. So there's nobody in the end zone to catch a potential pass. And J.J. Watt, obviously everybody knows who he is about to corral Trey Lance. So now Trey has to panic, and he throws it out of the end zone on the side where Ross Dwelley was an emergency outlet. So something went terribly wrong on this play. Here's the play fake. Here you can already see right in front of Trey Lance, J.J. Watt beating Mike Mcglinchey with some speed. Fast forward another second or so. There's nobody waiting for the pass in the end zone. At this point, J.J. Watt's already running free. One more second. J.J. Watt already has Trey Lance in his grasp. At this point, Charlie Werner starts to run a route, but it's way too late at that point, and it's just a desperation heave for Lance. Good play by him to get the ball away and give the 49ers a shot on this 4th and 1. So this is an infamous play because it ended up with another hard hit. It was another designed run for Trey Lance. And, I mean, some blame could be tossed around here too. Quick adjustment to under center. Cardinals think there might be a sneak. It's not a sneak. It's a rollout. All right, here we go. It's Lance in a foot race, but there's a chance he might be able to get Dwelley throwing back across his body, but it's really, really hard especially to expect a rookie to do that, especially with the speed of this play. The more realistic chance might be here. If Lance better manages a run fake, maybe he can, as soon as Isaiah Simmons commits to tackling him, maybe he could toss one over Simmons' head to Elijah Mitchell, who right here is open. But at this point, Lance is already committing to run, so that also is easier said than done. And the Cardinals pop him at the goal line. Just tough in either direction, right? So maybe Mitchell would be available there. At the end of the day, you got to execute better on 3rd down. You got to execute better on 1st down when Deebo Samuel dropped the pass. Because if you're putting all the eggs into the 4th down bucket, there's a whole lot of pressure here. Now, Dwelley right here, he's back toward the left hash. Maybe Lance can sneak one in if he zips it through. Maybe not. It's really tough when things are moving this fast. Decides not to do that. Decides to power forward. At that point, at the end, maybe he can hit Mitchell. He doesn't. The Cardinals hit him instead, and the 49ers fail on that play. All right, we move forward to the next drive. Remember that the most recent play, this is after the Cardinals had the ball. So remember that the most recent play for Trey Lance was the abuse that he took at the goal line, which was design run, essentially number 7 for Trey Lance. So he's gotten hit a lot, which is why this shocks me here. Very next snap Trey Lance takes, the 49ers call another run for him. Read option keeps the ball. He obviously has no interest in really running. And, I mean, in this play, it doesn't help that the Cardinals are not fooled at all by the fake, and they're in the backfield. I mean, this is where Trey's at. It looks like Arizona was prepared for both. I was shocked the 49ers didn't pass here, or at least run with a running back and not with Lance, because, again, he's taken too many hits. That may not seem like a big hit, but these things can accumulate. Sets up a 2nd and 12. This is an interesting play because the 49ers have a ton of deep concepts called. And, maybe if Lance bought some more time with his legs, he can go to them. But instead, he kind of just sits there in the pocket and goes to the dump off the Kyle Juszczyk. we'll rewind a tiny bit just so you can see where exactly Trey Lance had his options. But, I mean, 3 seconds after the snap here, maybe 2, you could tell this is the 49ers are running deep concepts. And you could tell, we're going to see this more from the end zone camera, that with the 3-man rush that Arizona is employing, Lance has some time. But he, kind of just lets the pocket come to him instead of taking charge of the pocket. And then he just goes outlet to use check. But all these receivers are, they're going to be past the first down marker here any second. And we'll see this whole pass rush and opportunity to potentially step up in the pocket from the end zone angle, where you could see that the Cardinals rush, because it's so half-hearted. I mean, this is a situation where Lance probably does need to use the fact that he has time, he has legs. I mean, here comes there's the drop, right? There's the zone drop. So you have 3 rushers. You have the 49ers easily stonewalling everybody, except for Mcglinchey over here on the right side. He gets backed up a bit, but nothing should stop Trey Lance from stepping up in that pocket a little bit. And he doesn't step up in the pocket, doesn't let the routes that are deeper concepts fully develop, and instead just goes to the outlet, goes to Kyle Juszczyk, and it only gets the 49ers a yard. So that's a play where, Lance does need to be better from the pocket, where he does need to give more of a chance of something happening downfield, because he just didn't give it much of a chance on that play. It sets up, though, an excellent play where Lance is able to deliver from the pocket, and this is 3rd down and 11. So the 49ers have dug a little bit of a grave, but Lance is going to dig him right out of this, or at least give him a chance to get right out of it on 3rd and 11. Shotgun this time. Arizona is going to rush 3 again. Drop one of those linemen. Lance just throws a heat seeker that Mohamed Sanu drops. Ouch. But this is a missile. And this is a play that should give the 49ers a lot of optimism about Trey Lance moving forward. From the end zone angle, you could see the velocity on it. And, I mean, here he does step up a little bit in the pocket, and here he sees Mohamed Sanu come open, and he throws the seed, and it just doesn't work out. Now, because it doesn't work out, because the 49ers have a punt on the very next play, that actually ends up being Lance's final play of the second quarter, and therefore the last play that we're going to analyze in this video. And it's just too bad, because it seems that Lance had a little bit of a rhythm going, but his teammates this quarter didn't help him out. I mean, that is drop number 3 of the quarter. 2 for Deebo Samuel, 2 by Mohamed Sanu. The first and the last plays of this second quarter for Trey Lance were drops by his wide receivers. And especially a heat seeker like this, I'm going to slow this one down and stop it halfway through. Time of the throw. Lance sees Mohamed Sanu breaking open over the middle of the field, delivers that ball exactly where it should be. I mean, there's going to be a little hold near that 40-yard line, and this one's going to travel in the air about 25 yards. And Mohamed Sanu just can't hold on. I mean, that's into zone coverage. 4 guys trying to be in the vicinity of Mohamed Sanu. Trey Lance is able to carve through them with a throw that pierces the air, but you got to catch the ball. You can't do anything better here. So, I mean, this to me, when I watched this, was very emblematic of this game for the 49ers, this drop. We saw Trey Lance showcase his skill set, I thought, in an impressive way on several plays. He was able to space the field out with his strong arm, or at least the threat of it. He obviously was able to run against the Arizona Cardinals. And I thought that he did make some good decisions, and he made some good anticipatory throws. But the takeaway, especially now that we've watched 2 quarters of this game against Arizona, and if those of you who've seen part 1 will definitely agree with this, the takeaway should be that the pass protection was lacking for the 49ers. And we haven't even gotten to the second half where the 49ers just start holding over and over and over again, putting Trey Lance into holes. But the pass protection was lacking. And then for Trey, his receivers weren't catching the football. There were 3 drops in that second quarter that would have changed the course of this football game, and in almost all certainty. That really hurt the 49ers. The Deebo drop, right, of that little flat pass. Yes, Trey could have been better on that pass, but if he doesn't drop it, the 49ers might score a touchdown there, changes the complexion of the game. And then I don't even want to know what would happen if Mohamed Sanu was able to catch that ball toward the end of the second quarter. So when we break down every single snap of Trey Lance of the 49ers during his rookie season, we have to put it in context. The 49ers do need to do a better job helping their young quarterback out. That comes from both a pass protection standpoint and from a pass catching standpoint. All right, everybody, subscribe to the channel. Part 3, quarter 3 is coming up next of Trey Lance's 8 quarters as the starting quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers as the rookie in 2021. We're going through every single play, so sub to the channel so that way we can get to the finish line with as many of you on board as possible. Everybody take care.